So we are now just 2 days away from the big day that will not only determine the fate of the South Korean leader, but which could also reshape the country's political landscape. We turn to a legal expert, Jisu, in the meantime. Hello there, Jisu.
Morning.
Jisu, we are now counting down to Friday. How will the court and the 8 justices spend the next few days up until Friday?
So at this point, the court decision has already been made. The justices have reached an agreement behind the closed doors, but that doesn't mean the whole process is done. Over the next 2 days, the Constitutional Court is going to focus on the written opinion, which is also called the decision document. So that is where the justices explain how they've reached the arrival of their ruling. And in a case of this magnitude, every word matters. Every legal citations, every sentences of reasoning, all of it needs to be precise, consistent, and ready to withstand public scrutiny. So I'm going to break it down day by day. So they are scheduled to meet again on April 2nd by the day of today at 10 a.m. to continue refining the language in the documents. And on April 3rd will likely be a day for internal checks and final sign-offs. And as for the last day of the on April 4th, no more deliberations are going to be held. They're going to go straight to announce the decision publicly.
And there were so many rumors and speculation over the court's composition, being 5-3 or 6-2. Now that the ruling day is confirmed, would you say the justices have, sorted things out and finally reached a unilateral agreement, or do we not know yet?
So let me just start by saying that we don't know for sure whether the vote has been split yet. The deliberations were held in absolute confidentiality, but I would say that 5-3 seems very unlikely since the Constitution has showed a very strong precedent cases that they're just going to wait or seek a more definite outcome rather than leaving room for any kind of contest. So there's the issue of Ma Eun-hyuk judge appointment here. So if he were to join, the result could be changed. So the fact that the court is scheduled a ruling, it means that they're moving forward with preparation, suggests that there may have been a unanimous or at least 6-2 agreement. And that's speculation, yes, but I think it's not baseless. And even on the day of the ruling, we'll be able to get some clues based on how the verdict is delivered. If the Chief Justice opens with a summary and saves the actual verdict for the last, that typically means the court was unanimous. And if the verdict comes first, followed by separate opinions, well, that usually signals a split of vote. And that's not a hard rule, so the court can deviate from that format, but it does give the public a kind of a hint to align how they aligned the justices were.
We'll be on the lookout for that. Now, I know you just ruled out the possibility of the composition being 5-3, but let's say that composition ends up being a 5-3, but there's nothing anyone can do about it, right? So what is done, correct?
Yes, exactly. The court's decision has what's called formal finality. It means the ruling is binding and irreversible. So the parties involved, including the president, the National Assembly, and the public itself, cannot no longer challenge it under any legal mechanism. So no relitigation, no constitutional complaint, not even a motion to reconsider. So yes, once the ruling is delivered, that's it. The court will just close the book.
So everything will be wrapped up by tomorrow on Friday, in 2 days on Friday. And all eyes are on if President Yoon make himself a president in the courtroom on Friday. Jisu, do you think he will? Because he did make sure to be present for the hearings, right?
Exactly. So I think it's certainly possible, and I think the context matters here. So during the hearings, even while in detention, President Yoon showed it up in person 8 times. And that's a stark contrast to previous presidents who faced impeachment, like Roh Moo-hyun or Park Geun-hye, who chose not to attend any of those hearings at all. Now, the President Yoon is no longer in custody. There's nothing preventing him from appearing in the court on the day of the ruling. And his legal team suggests that they're still reviewing the decision of appearing. But it's not just a legal moment, I think. It's a political one, a very public one. And for a president who's been vocal about his cases several times, I think his appearance might be come down to the earth right now.
Jisu, before I let you go, last but not least, the ruling will be delivered live. Now, that's going to be live considering the gravity of the whole, situation and also the case.
Right. So the Constitutional Court announced that the verdict will be broadcasted live and the courtroom will be open to the public. And this isn't something new. So when President Park Geun-hye was impeached, her ruling was also aired live. And why are they doing this? Because the stakes are humongous here. This isn't just about a legal decision. It's about a constitutional moment. It affects the presidency, the people, and the nation's trust in its institutions. And I know that not every cases get this kind of treatment. For example, the court didn't allow live coverage for the recent ruling involving Prime Minister Han Duck-soo.
Right.
But when the issue is of national importance like this, the court has generally erred on the side of openness.
All right, Jisu, thank you as always for joining us early in the morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.